Is everything going fine today? All right, guys. Okay, good morning and welcome back to our second semester, right? The first year, digital illustration classes. So, as I actually have been inform you guys, okay, last semesters, which is yeah, if we are going to be right, we call that made each other's right, okay, and then you guys were going to be working with me back again, okay, in our not advanced illustration classes, but basically uh, what you guys have need to know, okay, to develop your kind of skill for this particular short semester, okay. Basically, I have been covered there, okay, for last semester. So hopefully, all right, what we actually been going through for this semester
Sir,
are going to be yes,
sorry, Mr. Faisal, sorry for interrupting, but I would
yeah,
like to inform that some students is not are still not able to come in because the meet is full.
is it?
Yeah, a lot of students still can't come in.
Um, Basically, I'm using the Thai UC kind of Google Classroom there, right? Why actually they kind of come in, right?
Because it says that it's full.
Is
Because
it?
like the last sem we don't have any problem to come in,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah,
then like my group have a lot of students still cannot come in, and then I believe like some groups also.
is it?
Yeah.
Because last semester we can cover more than 100 plus kind of student, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. So this is your first classes, right? Okay. You didn't have any kind of issue for the for the other classes, right? Do you have any classes
No.
around
No,
around
this is
eight?
our first class
Hmm.
for my group lah, for my group.
Okay. Because I'm using basically our Thai UC domain. Hope basically it doesn't have any problems here, right? I don't know
Um,
why I have to try again. Let me check the setting back again.
all right,
Right.
sure.
Hmm.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Right. Thank you, Marissa, for informing here.
All right, thank you.
Um.
No problem.
Hmm. Right. Let me check that. Right. Show condensed notification. Show delete items. No. Just can review them. Manage invite codes enable. Yes. Right. I don't know what basically were going to be a problem here because we have around 100 students over here. I think from, okay, let me share the screen that first. Right. We got around 151 there, right? Students basically have been invited or maybe invited over here, right? 132 students there. But I don't know why basically, right? But basically, I'm still recording the sessions over here. Those are one of the good thing about it because our session basically have been recorded. But the thing that I have the questions here, there, okay, the questions there, right? In kind of like tickling me a bit, okay, because I would say that okay, there is no new student in our group, right? All of you guys were here except the one actually have received or maybe have defer for the subjects, right? Oh, we get add right another one directly 101 students there. So there's still a lot of students can't enter directly. So let me check that right. Add group. Everyone have my information, so I can my kind of information in WhatsApp, all right? Everyone there, right?
Sir, I think my group suggested that I share my screen for them first for this lecture.
Okay,
So
right. Yeah,
okay, thank you,
if
sir.
you can share directly, good. All right. Share did mean has reached maximum 100% participation. What can reach 100% 100 participation there, right? You can't join when someone you can go. Right. Using Arisa, how many people in your groups? Seven? Group
Eh,
three, right?
yeah, group 3, I think around 19 or 20 something around there, lah. Around
Oh,
19.
right. The one basically, I'm kind of what we call that, feeling a little bit kind of funny there, right? Okay? I get a few number kind of student basically has greet me there, okay? It's a good thing, but it's just like that, you guys doesn't know me at all, okay, for last semesters there. That kind of quite weird there, okay? So hopefully this semesters, right, okay, I basically have been share most of the thing that we we should work there, okay, for the whole 7th week there. Well, now my kind of what we call that, right, mouse basically also feel a bit kind of weird there. All right, we got around 101 there, okay. I'm recording the sessions there, okay, as usual. Then I'm going to upload back again here. All right. All right, so, all right. Hopefully there is, I think there's a few kind of student basically has not go in the flying colors for last semester's kind of submissions, right? Okay, the one basically I've been go through before the right, okay. Please read back again, right? Our course plan, okay, for this semesters. Hopefully, right, okay, there is no kind of maximum kind of risk of people actually doesn't actually understand what is going on here, okay, basically for our illustration classes there, okay. So that means that hopefully most of you guys will be uh, what we call that normal only 100 there, okay. I saw Google said, yeah, you need to pay 8. No, I don't know the okay, because I'm using basically the as usual there, okay, the our TAUC kind of systems there, okay, right. So hopefully they pay basically those rent there, right. All right, but usually we don't have any kind of issue, right, okay. The only issue that we have, like, the student doesn't basically take more attention on the brief and also the explanation itself there, right, okay. But this semester basically I actually have, because last semester, okay, the things that I find, because one of the reason maybe that most of the students, some of the students, maybe most of the students actually doesn't basically get it what basically is going on in our lecturing on in our subjects basically experience there. Because when it comes to introduction to illustration, I'm talking to our dean also at the same time, right? There's a lot of things that the multimedia student have to catch up there, okay, especially for those who have zero knowledge of learning experience or drawing kind of skills there. So that means I have to go into deep, even though you thought that my kind of way of explanation is quite advanced, but if you go through back again, right, okay, I'm starting from zero there, okay. Okay, I'm explaining from zero kind of knowledge of understanding. For those who cannot draw well, you have to go through with this kind of what we call the step there, okay. The only thing that make you guys doesn't actually work really well, one of the things that I might kind of assume, because I've talked with some of the students there, you don't get face to face there, right? Kind of experience, right? But the second important thing is why basically you don't basically get it right, because lack of practice there in the right way, right? To develop your skills, as I mentioned for you guys, okay, for last semester, okay, many times there. All right, you need to develop basically your kind of individual skills there, okay, from time to time, okay. That means you have to practice every day, okay, to develop the skills there. But this semesters, we got only three different kind of works and three different kind of assignments there. All right, that means hopefully you guys can focus with this individual kind of assignments there, right? No extra exercise, but you have to work toward this kind of understanding, okay, within the period of time there, right? So that means, okay, as I actually have mentioned for you guys,
Risa, stop presenting, please.
yeah, stop presenting there, right? So that means, right, Marissa, we have to record, right? Okay, I thought basically I was fed boys lean just now, okay, do some mixing there. All right. So Marissa, okay, don't worry there, okay, we're recording the sessions over here. All right. Wait up. Yeah, be soon. All right. You guys can see my screen sharing back again, all right? Okay. So guys, so that means that, right, each one of you guys who actually doesn't actually concern about what is going on in our classes as usuals, all right, this semester split read down back again all my marking guide, okay, concept plan, all right, the rules, the syllabus, and the center course plan basically for the whole 7 weeks there, okay. Right, as I actually have been working on, okay, for with you guys, I always love to make it more simple, but you need to basically ask me some of the inquiries that you have. But what actually I've been showing you guys, that's basically what we actually going to go through. All right, especially on the visual itself, okay. If you take a look, okay, we actually is a visual language kind of person there, right? Okay, we train you guys to become a visual language kind of person there, right? If you take a look, okay, for the samples that I actually have given you guys, okay, because last semesters we hardly using color there, right? Okay, but this semesters we're going to experiment with those colors there, and you guys also have an experience learning with the color kind of combination using other kind of subjects there, right? Okay, experience with the other kind of subject that hopefully, right, this semester you can actually develop them back again, okay, within this 2 week 3 weeks time they're okay to develop all this kind of color combination back again, okay. But as usual, I always demonstrate for you guys there, and we actually have two different kind of tutors that I think for this semesters, which is, yeah, for lecture class I'm going to explain, and I'm going to demonstrate also as usual some of the things that we might not going to be doing for our assignments there, but it will help you to gain more understanding hopefully in the futures when you want to go through with your animation subjects, for examples, and other kind of subject that related to illustration or drawing at the same times. All right. Those are basically some of the knowledge that I want to share in lecturing class there. So that means each 7 groups, please don't skip lecturing class, or if you can actually enter the room directly, please go into my recording sessions that I'm going to share as usual there, okay? So this is basically a sample of works that we are going to experiment within these 2 weeks time there. All right. The styles of illustrations is basically up to you guys how it works. But the most important thing is how you get the proportions correctly, right? Even though basically you have a lot of difficulty later on to experiment with some colors and shadows, but everything basically in front of you guys, okay? You actually just have to draw on top of the layers there, not just tracing, on top of the layers that you works. This is something that I've been working on with the students previously, okay, in digital illustrations, right? Okay, but in 14 weeks kind of schedule or module there, right? Normally we have a lot of weekly kind of exercise there, okay? But what I actually have been looking for basically, okay, for the last semesters, most of the exercise that we required for the digital illustrations, basically you haven't covered that, right? Even though some of you guys, I think one, three or four of you guys, they may be, okay, from what I actually have been go through individually of your kind of assignment and also your exercise work for last semesters, which is some of you guys might, I would say, fail there, okay? Because you're not actually following through there, okay? From all of my exercise or from my demonstrations there. Those are one of the things that make you basically doesn't actually get through with the marking system there, okay? And of course, well, I've been actually right explain also to some of the parents at the same times, right? When when the children's, okay, when you guys told them, okay, you don't understand, okay, the things that we're actually going to go through there, and some of them say that, okay, they feel shy to ask the questions there. But the problem is that I face, if the student actually shy to ask the question about the assignments, about the works, how come basically they don't feel shy to hassle me to ask about the attendance there, right? Can you see the difference there? You guys worrying about the attendance rather than those assignments there. By right, the assignments are going to be fail your kind of marking system, not your attendance there, right? The attendance can be improvised there, right? It can be tolerated there, right? If you actually have the formal official kind of letters, or you have medical certificate. And of course, the other thing is when I actually call your name, when I call your name, each time, every time in our practical class, please, what we call that, respond. Please respond. That's all there, right? You don't respond, I assume that you don't came there, okay? Some of the lectures, if you don't respond on that day, at that times, you consider failed. But normally, okay, most of the students there always backfire all my kind of tolerations there, right? This is what happened almost every semester. I try to tolerate with you guys. I try to give you guys some sort of slack there, right? Okay. But I've been backfire all the time. This is the thing that not quite healthy there, guys. I try to give a little bit kind of open up, transparent kind of communication with you guys there. But most of the times, there's a few kind of students always backfire my kind of tolerance there, right? But I'm okay with it, okay, because every recording sessions, every kind of things, normally I'm going to take them as a notes and I'll record there, right, okay? So to back up basically my kind of actions there. So don't be immature, okay, by not responsible enough to work, to develop, to inform, to respond, right? To have a very good kind of healthy kind of communication with me there, guys. All right. because I'm actually trying to help you guys to get through with the subjects there. All right. So those are basically okay. I actually record this one, and I actually doesn't matter. Okay, I can actually okay, give the link also to your parents there. Because they basically need to know basically what is going on in every single classes there, right? Those are the things there. So luckily, basically this semester you got only 7 weeks, so that means don't just playing around without knowing and understanding what is going on in our class over here. All right, and as usual, you guys we also have a personal groups, right? I don't know basically what are the methods that can help and assist you guys to engage with your lessons there. I record the sessions, I do the demonstrations each week, right? And I actually ask you guys, okay, if you want to basically, okay, this is some of the samples of works. If you guys want to have the consultations, I have opened up one room of folders, okay, for you guys to develop to have the consultation with me. Okay, this is some of the samples that if some of you guys feel, oh, what kind of styles that we are going to do, sir? Do we do this kind of styles there or this kind of styles there, play with some colors? Hey guys, you have to be more creative there, okay? You can choose there, okay? If I ask you guys, okay, everyone draw all these characters, trace like this, Mr. Bean, only there, okay? I don't have any options there for you guys to develop your creativities there. All right, don't be too naive there, okay? In creative kind of courses and subjects and also developments there, okay? I give you guys some options. You choose which style, spot, area that you want to explore there, okay? Or if you have another kind of samples that you want to explore there, okay, from these 2 weeks kind of exercise there, okay? Go ahead. It's only one single kind of what we call the artworks that you guys have to submit, but make sure you can score it well in 20%, okay? At least you can get 18 to 19%, okay? Kind of marks there, okay? Full marks there, okay? Those are the things that you have to target there. So the quality, the reference, the samples, the directions of where you want to go, even though you're not actually drawing on top of the same characters or the same kind of portraits, okay? The challenge is you have to figure out how actually you're going to execute your own kind of styles that works. This is a bit kind of like a very cubic, pixelate kind of styles there. But it's basically similar to AI kind of Adobe Illustrator kind of styles there, but it can actually produce in both kind of platform, Photoshop or Adobe Illustrators there, right? Okay, Photoshop or Adobe Illustrators there, it can be. So if you take a look at this kind of combination colors there, they actually experiment with the warm and cool color at the same time there, right? The shadows areas are going to be a little bit more like a purplish, reddish, brownish, right? Okay, kind of cool kind of colors there, right? Okay, and the highlight basically, okay, are going to be a little bit kind of like a very warm kind of warm kind of colors there, okay? Those are the experiment there, okay? To experiment some of the new things, yes, we always going to make mistakes. All right, and remember one thing, even though you have submit the works next week, all right, next week, if I saw some of the works has to be improved, you need to be improved there. All right, and of course, this semesters we have three different lectures there to evaluate your works. Hopefully, you guys can actually use that kind of time to learning with those kind of lectures, okay, for group 4, 5, 6, 7 there, okay. Even though I do some demonstration on my lecture class, we have 2 sessions of lecture class each week, right? So I want you guys your feedbacks, okay, later on. But group 4 and 5, 6, 7, you guys, your class are going to be around Friday and also Saturday there, right? So that means you have the time to experiment your works there. And of course, our assignments later on, I'm going to give the brief there. right? You just only can use your own face. All right. You need to trace or draw back again your own face. I don't want you guys to use any kind of Korean, Japanese kind of idol, or or Hollywood kind of what we call it, or presidents kind of faces anymore. Right? I want you guys to study your own face there. You're going to draw your own digital portrait for these particular assignments there. All right. The second assignments also are going to be the same. Even though I'm using for the samples basically a different kind of photos of celebrities there, right? Okay, or people actually around the Googles, right? I want you guys to use your own faces that works. All right. For this one, basically, second assignment there. We're combining image manipulation, photo collage a little bit, and we draw them back, okay, to combine them to use Liquify kind of tools there, okay, to make the head a little bit more bigger, a little bit more cartooning kind of styles there for the second assignments that you had. You got around almost 3 weeks there to complete this kind of assignments there. One drawings, but you have to add a little bit kind of details, and we might going to add also some background for it there, okay? So this is some of the sample of the student works. This is not so good there, okay, but this is the method that basically the student actually have applied based on the assignments there. All right, it's not that good, okay, but this is one of the, I would say it's quite okay there, okay, for the methods, like even though he actually can improve a bit more on the drawing line and strokes over here, but he's done a very good job, Lara, okay, for the assignments there. All right. And this is basically my demonstrations, okay, previously, okay, I'm using uh, my kids, okay, my kid's son, or kind of what we call that face, and I construct with the, combine with the Spider-Man, right, into the verse kind of pose there, right, okay. So this is basically, I done it in my demonstrations classes, okay, for last few semesters there. All right, just to show how it works there. But this digital caricature is not that kind of exaggerations, right? Okay, we not actually exaggerate a lot, right? Okay? So I exaggerate a little bit of my faces at the same time, right? And of course, for these two assignments, you're not being allowed to use any other face other than yours. Remember, okay, your own face. I repeat back again, okay? You have to use your own face to draw them back again. Either you want to put some photos, selfies there, okay? Or you want to, you have the photography kind of subjects, right? Hmm? You have
Yes,
photography? Okay, right. When is it? This semester or last semester?
this semester.
This semester, right? So that means that, okay, we're not just applying a little bit kind of light and shadows, okay, as usual, okay, for the photographies, okay, for your reference there, for your samples there, and then you're going to color them back again, okay, using those kind of color combination. Because last semesters, we entirely, basically, we use a lot of grayscale kind of colors that accept your third assignments there, right, okay, that you actually been working on, right, okay, for the picture books illustrations, all right? So basically, okay, the body, basically you can actually use any kind of maybe superhero characters there. The brief basically is about uh, creating a superheroes caricatures based on your own face. I'm going to state it out there, okay? I'm going to share your lecture note in your brief later on there, okay? So those are the things there. Right? Create your own characters, superheroes using your own face with digital caricatures. That's all. All right. So entirely in these two assignments, you are going to using your face as a subject matters, and you're going to paint and draw back again. Okay. The first assignments is not going to be a full figures, maybe half of it. I have the samples that I'm going to show you guys to demonstrate. Okay. The second one, based on your own face, you create your own characters of superheroes, but you can actually combine and draw and get some reference, okay, before you redraw them back again there. Okay. Those are the things there. All right. So two assignments basically based on your own face, but digital portrait and also digital caricatures there. Okay. I give you guys these two different kind of assignments basically it's a practical for you guys to develop your skills, and later on hopefully you guys can develop your own kind of reputation to find your clients later on. I'm not just giving you guys something that you might going to develop or just for the sake for the assignments there. It's all about to develop your kind of reputations, skills later on when you want to develop your portfolio and make some sort of commissions kind of works in the futures there. Right? Commissions kind of works there, right? Okay, when people want you to draw their portraits later on or digital cartoon characters, caricatures later on, okay? You guys can have this kind of methods, techniques that you apply them back and gain some profit out of it. All right. So those are the reason I give these two different kind of assignments that related to those, not just industry need, okay, but the commissions kind of what we call that kind of working experience there, right? Okay. So any questions about those two assignments there? Any questions there, right?
No.
All right. So Johari, how is it there, right? Are you ready for these semesters?
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you guys still have the tablet with you there, right? You don't actually throw away those tablets, right?
Yep.
Or sell to the juniors, right? No, right? All right, guys. The last kind of assignment for these semesters are going to be a children's folk tale or folklore kind of illustrations there, based on the story that I'm going to give you guys there, okay? But only draw one single illustrations only there. All right, one single illustrations only there, okay? This one basically based from what stories there, right? Anyone can actually write, recognize there. You know the story, right? Most of you guys. Hmm?
What story?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's a familiar, right? It's very simple kind of. It's a direct kind of story there, okay? It's all about the dog and the shadows, right? Okay? Who actually feel a bit kind of greed with the bones there, right? So we are going to explore that kind of particular kind of style direction, but don't plagiarism or copy from other people's kind of reference there. I know there's a lot of reference outside there that related to these particular kind of styles there, right? What I want you guys to do, explore a bit, right? This one basically would came from the same titles, but I'm using different kind of techniques. Right? I'm not entirely draw them directly from my sketch, but I'm using a reference there, photo reference there. And I combine with my kind of imaginations kind of compositions there. Okay? A very simple kind of understanding there. But the methods of working, the brush tools that we use is really important to make the quality of the works a little bit kind of difference there. Right, but if you don't copy or use other people kind of styles of illustrations that apply them back, or you just copy them back from your works. Right? I want you guys to explore a little bit kind of different kind of techniques there, okay, to compose them back. Right? Okay? I'm going to give you guys the titles there, right? What I have in my kind of what we call that list is only three only there. Okay, the story about the mouse, deer, and the crocodiles, rabbit and the tortoise, and also the dog with his shadows there, right? Okay? Three different titles only, you choose one of them. Only there, right? Okay? There's no required any kind of human characters there, right? Last time I give more there, right? Okay? Okay, this is also one of the styles that I explore with the students there, right? Okay? Based from that stories there, okay? Conchil and Warrior there, okay? But I'm using a very simplified kind of styles there. Very stylizations using a polygon kind of styles that of illustration kind of works using the method like AI, but basically it's Photoshop there, right? Okay, I'm using a little bit kind of textures at the same time. So if you take a look at this particular kind of sample that I actually given you guys have actually have more freedom to choose. Okay, I'm not saying that you guys just have to use this kind of styles that you works there, okay? But you guys can choose which kind of style that you want, you feel quite comfortable for you guys to start with, and you guys can actually explore from there. Each kind of our second and third assignment, you got around 3 weeks to complete there, right? Almost 3 weeks to complete there. One single illustrations there, guys. One single illustrations there. All right. Last semester, I saw one of the students there, okay? I don't have to mention there, okay? When I actually write, as I told you guys, I will take a look each individual kind of, if you have around 131 kind of students there, right? Or 130 kind of students there, I kind of will look into each one of your works directly. So that means directly, I'm what we call that, I feel kind of what we call that, I feel like I was hope that, okay, this is one of the students that actually have experienced there, okay. I thought that this student kind of will pass the subject, okay. But when I look into each kind of folders in every single weeks that this student actually have shared already, none of them is complete. I almost get caught, okay. He what we call the student basically almost get passed, right, with the subjects there, right. But I take more than 2 times to double check back again, to triple check back again, right, okay, the students' works, and I find out, okay, if this students doesn't complete each one kind of folders there, each kind of exercise there. So don't try to messing up like that back again there, guys. So, okay. Some of the students who actually quite pass, maybe he complete, okay, those most of the exercise and assignments, but they kind of not complete one of the assignments, maybe. Basically, it's lucky, right? But the rest of it, basically, right, who actually fail, either they don't complete the whole kind of folders, assignments directly, and some of them, when I actually ask you guys to complete, if I remember, 5 to 6 kind of drawing each week directly, they only submit one. And the one which they actually submit also doesn't look right, also have a lot of weakness there, right, and doesn't show any efforts to make the call, ask me questions. And the worst part is, right, he doesn't actually ask anything there except the attendance for the last minute. That's why I felt, right, quite, what's wrong with it? Okay, I would say that I didn't do any wrong directly from there, but why basically these students have brave enough to ask about their attendance, but he doesn't actually, right, or she doesn't, right, complain or do whatever things to make some actions, right, to improve their works there, right. Those are basically some of the things I kind of feel like, oh, what kind of mentality is that, guys? All right, please don't do those kind of things there. Yao Chen, how is it there again? You pass or fail there, right? For introduction to illustrations.
Pass.
Yao Chen. Yao Chen there, right? Why you sound like a girl there, right, Yao Chen? Okay, guys, okay. So because he and Johari, right, when I actually look back again all the works, right, yeah, it's just past, right, but some of you guys, you know who you are, basically, okay, if you're here, right, okay, please don't make the same mistakes, right, okay. If you don't complete the works, right, okay, of course, how actually I'm going to evaluate them? And some more, the quality is not there. We working with digitals, right? I don't know, right? If you're working with the traditional, you have the same kind of problem or not, okay? Digital there, guys. As I told you guys before, digital kind of tools, it will make your works more better even though you cannot draw well. So the tricks, the tips, the techniques were there, all right, okay, to work with it. All right, so let me check that, okay? Check back again what what basically you are actually going to be what we call that phases, right? Okay, for this basically this kind of what we call that semesters there for week one. Basically, we have two different kind of lecture class there, right? So that means, right, okay, I'm going to give you guys some of the brief like this, like today, right, okay, for digital caricatures, right? All the brief about those, the assignment itself, there, right, okay, and then the practical class. Basically, we are going to work with to create some visuals there, maybe using Adobe and also Photoshop at the same times, depending there, right, okay. But I have been talking to Mr. Zenier, there, right, Zenier, right, okay. He actually one of my earliest kind of students there, right? Okay, one of my early students, right? Okay, when I was around 2013, if I'm mistaken, or 2000, yeah, 2013, right? Okay, he's one of the best, okay, one of my earlier kind of batch that actually trained, okay, in this college, there, in this university, there, okay, actually with me directly. So now he actually assists me good, right? He also has a lot of experience outside there. Okay, when he go outside there, then he actually realized a lot of things that he actually been learned from there. Okay, for you guys at the early stage there, whatever actually I told you guys, maybe you're not going to be digestible it right now. Hopefully in the futures you're going to realize, oh, why actually I teach all these kind of methods there. It look kind of difficult right now. It will be useful for you guys in the futures there, right? Okay. So the style and type of illustrations that which are going to be go through later on, right? Okay, for digital paintings there. All right. Some illustration for medium communication there to explain people about your kind of methods of working or concept design, right? Okay. So I'm going to give some sort of like a brief like that, right? Okay, for the lecturing class there. And one of the most important thing, if you take a look at the week four, right? Okay, we actually have been go through this one for last semesters a lot there, right? Okay, character design development for illustrations, which is you're going to apply this kind of understanding in animation classes. Remember, guys, animation classes there. So for those who cannot draw well, it's okay. But if you cannot draw perfectly, try to draw conceptually directly. So that means you need to draw your own styles of character design in order to develop basically your kind of understanding when it comes to develop your animation skills. Animation skills there, right? Okay, that actually have been stated in your kind of courses there, okay, for multimedia subjects. All right. I believe that right now they're combining 2D and cell animation at the same time, so, okay? So you guys going to learn Adobe Animate that to work on that, okay? So learn the basic principles of character design developments, the proportions there. You guys can go through with my kind of lessons from the YouTube back again, all right? Okay? And I want to inform you guys back again, for those who haven't subscribed my channel, please do, okay? Because you might going to use some of the modules, some of the lessons from my demonstrations. We help you guys to gain more understanding from there. All right, please do, okay, to work on that. Yes, okay, for week 5, okay, we are going to give back again some of the brief about folklore illustrations kind of content there, okay? I actually have one of the PDF kind of what we call that writing directly they actually get from one of the Google's kind of what we call that mentors directly to give you guys a bit kind of reading kind of experience that you have to read this kind of PDF just to get to know, understand a little bit kind of what is going through over here, other than you just copy from other people's work directly. I do believe that most of you guys hopefully have been understand, okay, have been noticed, okay, about the stories about the mouse deer, the kancil basically, and buaya there, okay, or mouse deer and the crocodile itself, okay. Uh, the story about the rabbit and the tortoise, the race kind of stories there, okay, and also that kind of the dog with the shadows there, okay, with his own shadows there, right? But if you don't actually sometimes we actually understand about the stories there, but we don't have in-depth kind of understanding about the culture itself directly, the culture itself directly, the tradition itself directly, why the story has been told there sometimes directly. So hopefully that content will help you a little bit directly, because you have to remember one thing, right? Even though nowadays our way of exploring and also uh, interest, right, okay, to develop to understand about our cultures is quite small or little there, okay, is very less there, right, okay. But you have to remember, okay, you still stay in Malaysia there, okay. So you have to aware about the relations, the communications there, the community of what you actually have in live right now there, okay, in a different kind of race there. Because I've seen some of the students from previous kind of semesters there, okay, many semesters before there, okay, when they create their own final year projects, all right, they kind of feel that, okay, they only create that kind of project for their own communities there. They're not actually work a little bit more abroad there, okay. One of the weakness about that presentation that I actually remember, okay, the students asked me basically, right, okay, to fill some of the form and also to participate with the kind of projects, right, okay. But the problem is, I'm not saying that it's quite racist or what, okay, but it's all about your concern about where you live right now, who actually your community is there, okay. So we actually live in a very multiracial kind of race there, okay. So that means our main kind of what we call that language that we actually apply is two, normally, English and Bahasa there, okay, to communicate with every single race there. Unless some of the what we call that Malay student or Indian student actually have been go to the Chinese school, for example, right? Okay? SJC, right? SJKC maybe, right? Okay? So you have to be aware, right? Okay? So when I actually try to participate, right? Okay, I want to support, right? Okay? But the problem is, I told her, right? Okay, I don't understand basically the words there. So how actually I'm going to explain it? Unless I've learned before, or I have a girlfriend, Chinese girlfriend who helped me, maybe, right? Or maybe my kids basically I've sent to the Chinese school there. So that's the problem there. Okay, the visual, the project itself. Okay, it doesn't fit with the multiracial kind of needs there. It's only specific one area. It's only a one particular kind of people or language there. Okay, so that's are the weakness there. Okay, unless you using basically a caption, the English caption, for example, there. Okay, because we in Thai UC we're using most of the time it's English language there, right? So using English language for the captions there, then at least I can actually learn Chinese at the same time. You can understand what actually you actually try to explain with the visuals there, right? That's basically right the kind of particular kind of concern there, awareness there, okay, that you have to build there. That's why I give this third kind of assignments that which basically from the around of our Malaysians, not Malay, but Malaysians kind of folk tales there, okay, folklore, okay, they're basically very universal there, right? And also you can study back again, you can actually find the difference between mouse deer and also a deer there, okay? There's two different kind of animals there. Same families, but two different types there, okay? Two different size, types, styles, and also features there, right? People doesn't get aware from there. Very simple kind of things that in their life there, right? All right? So take a look. This is one of the plan there, right? Okay? I already state also the what we call that the coursework kind of assessment planner, okay? Each kind of what we call that this exercise around 20%, but the second one are going to be around 40%. It's quite big kind of numbers there for caricatures there, because you're going to apply with these four different kind of methods there, okay? That I actually have stated from here. You can actually read it out back again. And the final assignment also around 40% there, okay? So this is something that actually have been shared and also share and also discuss with Mr. Zinyen, okay? And for Mr. Fauzi, basically, he is one of the new kind of part-time lecturer. I believe that, okay. I also haven't met him before. I never met him before that, okay. But he has been around in Thai UC before MCO there, okay. But I'm glad that actually, right, I have what you call that, two different kind of tutors, okay, to help me to assist me this semesters, because I also handling the one of the three groups, okay, for the FYP project for this semesters there, okay. So whatever the question that you have during the lecturing sessions related to the technical stuff, you can actually ask me, and then you can actually also ask your tutors at the same time, okay. Hopefully they're not going to be contradict or maybe beyond or what actually have been explained, but hopefully they can improvise from there, improve there, okay? The kind of methods that I to show there, okay? Because you will spend most of the guys 2 sessions each week with them, and also 2 sessions each week with me. All right. So use the time that we have to ask more questions on that. I don't want to hear anymore. Okay. I get some of the complaint. Okay. The students say they cannot access me directly. Hey, you guys have got around 100 and plus kind of people directly. How come actually can access the whole every one of you guys there? Sometimes I'm going to miss them out in the website directly, but you have to make sure that you can hustle me more directly regarding to your works there, right? But I believe that I always be with you guys at the all the times, right? I try to answer most of the questions there, right? But the problem is if you don't actually find a way to make a personal kind of consultations with me by video conference directly in Google Meet there, right? Okay. If you check look, okay, this is basically the our learning course plan. Basically, you guys can take a look as a guide that works. All right. And of course, okay, when you talk about our consultations room over here, I always have this room for the students directly to consult directly. I believe, okay, your friend like I think Paymin have this conversation before. Um, Yao Tian last minute also have this kind of session with me directly. Jason also have, all right. Marisa, I think, also have directly all this kind of personal sessions there with two people, three people in one particular group directly. But most of you guys did not actually use this kind of particular kind of room there, okay, to ask me to consult with me there, right? So this is the first week, first lecture class, right? And I actually have explained to you guys most of the thing that I need for you guys to work directly, for you guys to work there, right? Hopefully there is no kind of issues directly, that very small kind of issues directly that you want to bring back again, just to what we call that, to backfire me back again, right? Okay, that's not a good healthy kind of things there, guys, okay? Because most of the things I always be transparent with you there, right? And of course, let me go to and recap back again, okay? Because some of your students suddenly, right, okay, greet me just like they doesn't know me for last semester's there. When I check back again the channels there, the thing that they actually have been in there, okay, in my classes, they actually have been go to my classes, okay, for last semester there, but still seems like they doesn't know me basically, right? Even though my phone numbers also you're not actually right added into your kind of what we call that list there, okay? Please, okay, check back again, right? I'm kind of quite surprised there, okay? All right, Mr. Firdaus, okay, I say, yeah, okay. You guys have been working with the Adobe illustration, right? Adobe illustrators, right? Right. Okay, so that mean that, right? Okay, Mr. Vidal actually asked me, okay, based on our class outline, I believe that is the time is more or sharpening their skills and technique in illustrations, digitally, right? Yeah, yes, those are the things, okay. Basically, skill for Adobe Photoshop and illustration, right? Since they already took the introduction to illustration, yes, right? Okay, those are the things there, right? Okay, so basically, right? Okay, I have been covered, okay, those kind of things there, right? So I'm going to discuss a bit more with him, right? Okay? And he's also have entered our classes there, right? Okay? Our global classes there, right? Okay? So they mean most of the samples of the works. Hopefully, he also have been get it right. Okay? So they actually, hopefully, they actually know what they're going to expect to develop your kind of skills there, okay? All right, okay, during the sessions there, right? All right, guys, any questions there so far?
No.
All right. Any kind of inquiry there, guys, okay? Hey, Yvonne here, Yvonne? Oh, Yvonne here, right?
Yes.
All right, good, all right, okay. Yvonne, you have any questions here? Any inquiries? All right, I've been thinking, all right, okay, our colleges are going to be closed until when, Mr. Anyone have any ideas there? Any information about it? Our unis, okay, are we going to be continuing working with the online, or we might going to be see each other face to face, right, later on there? Marissa, do you have any ideas there? Do you have any information on that? I kind of lost a little bit on the information on the MCO and PKPD kind of things there, right? Because yes, I kind of like to see you guys. Okay, some of you guys who actually have the kind of difficulties, okay, to develop basically. I'm not inmate. Oh, can join in as can't join. How come we cannot join there, right? Okay, just now. Okay, sorry, there, right? Right. Anyone have the ideas there? Okay, when it's right? Okay, when actually can we can go back into school? But guys, okay, even though we can't, okay, please pray, okay. I'm here to help you guys. That works. All right. Like Johari also the same thing there, okay. But all the efforts that you want me to make is all depend on your kind of interest there. I kind of doesn't like to suddenly ask people, okay, you want to learn this, you want to learn this, you want to learn this, okay? If the person doesn't have any kind of efforts there, okay, to work from there. All right. So we have to work, okay, back to back there, okay, to work on that, okay. You have to be more kind of responsive there, okay, in order to make sure everything goes well there, okay. And of course, okay, illustration is not only about drawing; it's all about the skill to visualize things, right? The skill to visualize things, okay. But creativity is a part of it, right? Okay? Creativity, to develop your creativity, you have to draw also at the same time. So other than you just think on your head, right? In your head, right? Okay. So we have to develop that kind of things from time to time, right? Okay, from time to time, right? So for those who actually have a very flying colors on the marks, okay, congratulations. Be humble and try to improve it more from here. All right. So your target right now, I was hopefully most of you guys at least can get B for the subject, okay? Who actually have this kind of difficulties, okay, to develop skills there. Hopefully for these kind of lessons, you guys can get at least B there, okay? No C anymore, okay? And the only person who get C, maybe they need more extra kind of attention on the skills there. But I have to warn you guys, don't be too naive. If you want to be good at what you do, even though we have only 3 different kind of assignments only there, okay? But you have to do more practice from there. The practice, maybe it will count as a part of your commitments there. All right, commitment there, right? Okay. And of course, I only marks with these 3 assignments there, right? Okay. But if you show me basically your interest, let's just say in each assignment there, you do more extra works that I didn't state in our kind of assignments, kind of brief or lessons there, right? Okay. But you want to show the commitment. So for example, I do another 2 extra kind of works based on our assignments. Can you actually check it out, guys? I might going to add a little bit kind of marks from there. Simple as that, right? Okay. So because one illustration maybe is not going to be fit, you want to do more, go ahead there, right? Okay. Those are the things, right? Okay. You have to know how to use your kind of what we call that advantage there, right? Okay. Your advantage is to show your interest there. Not for me only, for every lecturers that teach you guys there, right? That's how basically you can actually develop your kind of marks from there. Especially you have a weakness on developing your skills. You show your commitments, you get real, you get more. Commitment there, right? Okay? Commitment there, right? And interest there, right? To develop your skill. You do your hard work from there. All right? Okay? So, all right. What we can share here, right? Okay. We got around 1 hour there, right? So, if you don't have any questions, okay, this is basically my sample of my photos there, okay? Which I'm not actually taking myself, okay? One of the students actually taking my photos over here. So, yeah, let me, all right, give me around a minute there, okay? So, take 5 first, all right? So, I'm going to get back to you guys later on, all right? All right. So, please, okay, write down a bit again, okay, some of the guide there, okay? The marking guide systems that's normally ready. I don't know whether some of the lectures actually have been opened up, right, to give you guys a bit kind of understanding from here. Read back again what basically you need basically to develop basically your kind of marks there other than your artworks at the same time, right? So this is basically the detail of the explanations that you guys can actually use as a part of your guideline from there. And also the general rules directly on developing the skills, knowledge, practical skills, and the regulations from there, okay? Check back again. All right. And of course, right, the guideline again, as courtesy to both facilitator students, please switch on your cameras there. I don't see anyone actually switch on any kind of cameras today. Okay, during our online session for both communication for both parties, okay, attendance is compulsory. All right, which is for today. So I'm going to just stick to those. Okay, later on, group 2 and group 1 and 2, I have the class right together already. All right. So basically today I have group 1 and group 2. And Thursday basically we have the what we call that public holiday there, right? So we are going to continue back again with group 1, 2, and 3, right? So that means the demonstration for group 3, right? You guys can check basically from these demonstrations as a part of your guide, and also you can check also some of the YouTube channel for group 1 and group 2 later on. Okay, I might going to use different kind of methods later on, okay, or styles or techniques that are come to develop basically, right, our kind of technical kind of things, right, okay, in our, there's around 159 already. I don't know, most of you guys will be going to be here already. I might going to check back in there already. Okay, guys. So you guys can see my screen sharing there, right? I'm going to check back again with the administration or admin already. Why basically we cannot get more than 100 classroom students over here. All right, guys. Okay, my demonstrations here, as usual, right? Okay, one of the most important thing that you have to remember, right, okay, about the light and shadows there. How actually you're going to compromise and work on that. One other thing is, normally I'm going to copy this one, right? Put it over here, aside there, right, as my reference. If you take a look closely there, right, you can see obviously where basically the light and shadows at the same time, right? So if we going to go through with adjust, right? How about posterize, right? Okay, posterize. Okay, posterize is one of the methods that I believe that you guys have been working on before to see the separation between the light and shadows there, but don't use this method just to trace them. You're not going to be working the right way because you guys have been trained as a designer there, right? Okay? Here, okay, the light there, right? The shadows obviously will be fall off to the right side and the left side there, okay? Check back again. All right. Always check your photos here like this. All right. That's basically your guideline that works. And of course, we're not going through with the very perfectly kind of way of methods. We're going to improvise from here. But one of the important kind of rules in order to execute this exercise is, first of all right, try to draw them. Right. I'm using Photoshop 2018, if I'm not mistaken, CC directly, kind of tools directly, and I'm using Carl's Ultimate Brushes again. Last time I'm using the old version that I still have here, right? Photoshop 7 there, right? So this one basically, right, hopefully is going to be a little bit kind of similar to what you guys have here. For the flow, I'm not going to change, but I kind of going to, okay, let's just say, okay, what kind of style that we are going to use here, you know, to develop our kind of learning experience there, okay? This is some of the drawing styles that I showed you guys before, right? So let's just say that I kind of want to use this style, okay, how actually going to work with that, right? the thing is right now, I'm going to put it over here as a reference. Reference only there, right? Okay. So let's just say I'm going to use some of the colors there. I'm not going to use drawings because last time I'm using a lot of drawings there, okay? So I'm going to use lasso tools. Remember lasso tools? Right? Feather 0 there, right? So what I can do right now, adding layers, you can add 4 layers if you want to directly. Drawing there, right? So take a look there, okay? Most of the methods that you saw from these photos, they've been simplified there, stylized, okay? But still look a portrait of him. So what I can do right here, I'm going to draw the same thing. Take a look here, right? Using lassos to draw the shapes and click shift at the same times. All right. What else there? Okay, click shift there, right? And then I'm going to draw basically this kind of particular kind of shape there, right? The eyes there. You see that? I mean, you can see here, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Right, Yotian, how is it there? So I'm going to, right, all the that kind of tones that I saw from these photos, I'm going to apply, okay, or the shadows itself, okay, the shadows there. Even though there's a lot of gray kind of hairline over here, all right, but I'm using a shadows kind of shapes there, okay, to apply for my drawing here, but I'm using lasso to paint directly, lasso to paint directly. This is one of the methods that I hopefully can introduce for those who really cannot applying a drawing style, a traditional kind of drawing styles using the digital pen directly. Okay, we kind of like simplified things here, right? Even though those what we call that the beard and also the mustache, right? I'm kind of like simplified. Remember, guys, the word is simplified directly. Styles there. Oops. Shift and simplify them. And of course, this kind of methods, it requires a few kind of layers with one. With this one, I can cut over here using alternate. And I can actually cut also over here. Right? I can increase or add a bit kind of layers over here, shapes over here, right? To continue with the shapes there. Right? We kind of like we simplify things, but hopefully they still look like the person that we want to draw, basically yours, right? So what I can do here, I can use alternate backspace. Just like using AI there, right? It's just like using AI there, right? Okay. So the next thing is right now, different layers. This is layer number 2, for example, here. I can add, okay, another color over here. Even though, okay, the original kind of photos, basically they have a grayscale, right, or highlight, right? It's your job to simplify things. That's what I say. This is the part of the challenge. How actually you can get a bit more creative there to work with it. Alternate backspace. You see that? How it works? There. All right. Some of these areas over here, okay, you have to add different kind of layers, all right? The what we call that gray colors there, right? So I'm going to use light colors over here in different layers. Remember, okay, don't get confused with the layers there. So right now, I'm going to create some sort of highlight that actually apply from those gray kind of tones there. Okay. When I look at these photos there, right, then I realize, oh, I have a lot of, right, alternate. I can actually create some sort of what we call that the negative space that reflects with the gray kind of tones there. Okay. Right. Even though I'm trying to gain a bit more faster, but what basically I actually believe that you guys have been experienced before, right? This kind of methods using AI there, right? Hopefully there, but maybe some of you guys didn't actually make it right for the first times in image manipulation classes. I do believe there, right? Hopefully you can actually gain a bit more from here. Often we don't use them. Alternate backspace there. See the difference there. Okay. These areas here, highlight. I can add some highlights over here, Chris. And I go into the second layers. Okay, this is a method of using layers there, guys, only. Okay, one of the reasons I'm not using traditional media styles, okay, like a drawing styles for today, for these sessions, because I want to give some options first. Before you guys develop kind of understanding that. Okay, that, oh, this one I can do it, hopefully there, right? Yeah. I'm detailing there, guys. I'm detailing there. All right. What other thing I can do from here? They require a lot of layers. If you're using AI there, guys, okay, for example, they're going to have the same kind of treatment. But I want you guys to go beyond the stylized. You're going to add the kind of details, right? Kind of details there. Right? So what are base colors of here? Maybe reddish or green there, right here, or orange there, right here, and add the kind of, right? If I want to have a certain kind of way of developing the shadows over here, right? If I can actually select them first and create some transparent just now. So then I'm going to kind of create this kind of shadows there. This kind of shadows here. For that areas here first, shadows here, alternate there, right? I'm going to add some shadows. Right. Select some of the areas for the shadows here. Right. Some shadows over here. Okay. The cast shadows there. The cast shadows there. Right? So lips, even though there's a few colors of the lips there, right? I kind of create a ton of shadows over there. Using shift directly to work for that shift. So what I can do right here is I can use that obviously different kind of colors like brown, add new layers, alternate, backspace, and this one I can actually write industrial packaging packaging. Okay, guys, and actually can put some colors on this kind of areas there. Yes, just to complete a little bit kind of my kind of composition and my kind of illustrations over here. But remember, okay, different kind of layers there. Which layers that I'm going to use, right, on top of the skin there, okay? So I'm using, this is layer number 4, all right, okay, this basically layers number 4, basically by the shadows, layers for the shadows there, right, okay? This is the layers for the skin there, right, this one, right, highlight a bit there, right, and then, okay. Kind of like the same, but it's not, right, okay? But because we are using based on the reference over here. So this is basically what you guys are going to be work with, okay, right, for the assignments directly for the first week kind of project there. I'm going to draw basically right here. Not only, but try to draw at least half of the body here. For example, like this one. Right, the colors that I'm going to use. Backspace. All right. And of course the shadows there. How actually I'm going to apply the shadows there, right? Use some selections there, right? So the shadows basically kind of appear something more like this one there. There. I'm using alternate a lot there, okay? That's the shadows there. Select the shadows here. So the blending kind of mode is not that kind of blending kind of styles, illustrations over here. It's very graphical kind of looks there, okay? Okay, graphical kind of look. Okay, this is one of the options that some kind of students can develop their own kind of styles there, right? Okay? Other than paint kind of style there. I'm going to give you guys some example of how to paint using those brushes there later on, okay? But this is one of the options that I want you guys to explore directly. For those who feel that right, yeah, I cannot go into that kind of paint styles there, okay? Why don't I go in this kind of styles there, okay? Right, shadows there. Okay. So we're talking about the styles of different styles of illustration. The highlights, of course, okay, when I actually go through back again. This is not a complete kind of drawing set. This is not entirely complete, okay? But hopefully I can give you guys some examples here, how actually I'm going to execute based on the reference that I have, okay, the shadows over here. All right. The highlights over here, sorry, they're not the shadows. Kind of actually like do some selections over there. I'm going to do some selections. Okay. The what we call that, one of the things that you have to fight directly, you have to twist a little bit kind of mind directly is the way to study this kind of painting or style there is not like a conventional kind of style that you guys have been exposed before. It's a bit more like a graphical kind of looks there. But it's a way basically you guys can develop this skill set. So I can actually use another layers. I can create some highlights over here. On those kind of shapes there, okay? So the other thing that I can actually use for working with this to complete the works, for examples, right? I can actually draw basically my kind of glasses that I do. What I can do. Okay, there's a few kind of tools that you guys also can use right in the new features you like. Selection tools here, but I don't want to use them. Using that tool, draw them back. Okay. Click shift all the times, all right? Just to select them. Right. And then to work with these areas using alternate alt directly key just to do some selections over there. All right, fix. So of course the color of those glasses a bit more darker there, right? And put on top of it. Okay. Okay. So it's a very stylized kind of illustration styles. All right, okay, you want to draw a bit kind of highlights over here, right? A bit more highlight right here. Go ahead there. Remember, okay, develop a creativity there, okay, from here. Don't just copying that. Okay? I never teach you guys just copy the whole thing. But I'll always encourage you guys to basically write, okay, where is it? This one, right? Create a little bit kind of activities, okay, based on the method itself, right? Okay, based on the method itself, right? So let me say the shadows over here. I want to add a bit kind of the purplish kind of shadows there. To give a bit more kind of details there. I think it's okay there, right? Oops. There, right here. All right. And also a bit kind of right here. This one is this. There. And some of the areas over here. Okay. What I can do right here, using the purplish kind of layers there, right? Okay, colors there. Add those shadows there, right? To blend it out. Can you see that? Right? The difference there, okay? To experiment with the colors itself by using the sorry, right? Styles of illustrations there. How long it takes? Around a few minutes there. If you actually have practiced a lot on the methods of working here. Right? So there's a lot of few kind of details that you can use. Okay? That's why I give you guys one particular kind of exercise there. So that means hopefully you can actually develop a kind of time there of understanding at the same time. Right, sorry directly, I'm going to alternate over here. All right, I'm going to select these areas only directly. For example, like this areas only directly. So I press I using this alternate that to work there. Kind of experiment some of the shapes there, right? Using right this kind of colors there. Right, that works. And then at this I'm going to use this kind of green over here with the reflections there, right? Because I'm wearing a glasses there, right? So I kind of not actually using the whole kind of what we call that color schemes over here. I'm going to improvise a little bit there, right? So what I can do, add layers using green colors there, right? And then what I can do from here is see the different guy. I can actually write using multiplied. I can actually use the cut light there if I want to, or I can use also the normal kind of, not the soft light, right? This kind of what we call that opacity there, okay? To mix them up there, right? You see the difference there, okay? The quality, the styles there that we try to approach based on this methods of working there, okay? What happens over here, right? What I can do from here, I can actually delete these areas there. This. Oops. Right. So this one will delete this one there. Yeah, so it's not quite right there. Right. Some of the experiments from here, right, can be very what we call that, very joy directly. And you play with some colors, and to play with some colors directly, always be brave to experiment directly. Experiment with the styles, right? Don't be afraid to change, right? But of course, we can see, okay, the source of light the understanding on creating those kind of illusions has been formed from this kind of particular kind of illustrations there. I actually developed a different kind of way of working at the same time there. Environment, leave it there, using layers there. But if you want to use AI, go ahead, okay, for this kind of particular stuff. If you're afraid, oh, if I'm using a lot of layers, I'm going to get confused directly. Why don't I actually use AI with the minimal kind of layers, but you still can achieve the same kind of methods of working there, okay? The same methods of working there. So what I can do from here to complete this kind of presentations, I can actually draw basically, right? Kind of like just complete this illustration thing. Even though what I've done right now is a part of those design, not only paintings or illustrations there. It's a part of those design there, guys. Okay. I want to complete them back. Right, the shadows has to be fall off over here there, right? And then we fall off a bit kind of over here. So there's a lot of things we can do from here if I want to, right? I have some samples. I have some of the what we call that learning kind of understanding based on the reference that I have here, right? Okay, to the style that I want to choose, right? And I also have the guideline that is for me to work with. Those are the good thing about it, right? Learning different kind of methods there of coloring there, other than using the traditional kind of way of working directly. You can also check back again also one of my demonstrations, if I'm not mistaken, is for digital illustrations that I actually have uh, shared with the students before that. So where is it? Right, digital illustrations there. Oops, not here. Because I have one demonstrations that I did already. Basically, the last 2 semesters, which require to see directly how actually I paint, right? Using the different kind of methods there, right? I'm using brush and paint directly to work. I kind of like lost it. There's a lot of files over here that I've been using there. I'm gonna check the library. My videos. Okay. Digital illustrations. Okay, this one, guys. Okay, this is one of the my demos. Even though basically this one I'm recording in our lab already, but you can see how actually I paint basically the illustrations based on the drawing styles already, based on the drawing styles using the same version of those Photoshop already. Right. I shared a link for you guys here, so you guys can check back again there, right? If you're not actually around my classes directly, so you guys can see how actually I paint it up using. I'm using lassos. I'm using also some traditional kind of paint kind of styles at the same time, which I'm going to show you guys also for my demonstrations later on directly. You guys can see directly. You guys can check it out how actually the reference, the styles. Okay, this is something that I'm using also as a guideline, okay, like that posterized, okay, kind of effects before basically I'm going to paint it up there, right? So this is basically, I'm using soft brushes there, okay, to work with it. Okay, I'm using most of it is soft brushes that work there. So hairline, basically how actually I draw the hairline using different kind of brushes there to work. All right. So you guys can check it out later on, okay. That's why I said, okay, try to browse and take a look at those demonstrations that I did already. Because a lot of brushes that we actually can explore, all right, from what we call that, uh, from basically the Photoshop, basically, okay, there's a lot that we can explore from there, right, okay. So this is basically one of the options method that you guys can actually proceed in our first assignments, that which is you need to submit next week. All right, next week, right, okay, in our practical classes, okay. So that means the rest of you guys can submit in Saturday, like 1, 2, 3, like 1, 2, 3 groups, right? They can submit basically next week. All right. So I'm going to put it right. This one, assignment 1, right? The portraits. Okay. Based on your own photos there. All right. Based on your own photos there, right? Put assignment 2, right? So caricatures, all right. What this caricatures is all about, right? Okay? I'm going to explain later on, right? Okay? You should make ourselves into cartoons there. Okay, I'm going to put some detailed brief on there, so I just add some photos there first. Assignment 3. All right. Relation. Illustrations. Right. Illustration. So the detail I'm going to put over here, alright, but the demonstrations I literally actually have give you guys, okay, some examples right here, okay, you guys can actually check it out there, okay, to work. All right. So hopefully there is no kind of argument, right, okay, that you have in your mind, okay, how it's going to work with it, okay, how it's going to develop it, right, okay. And I believe that you guys have been working with these styles maybe last semester in AI, but I don't know what kind of the result that you have from there, right? Okay? What kind of result you have made from there, okay? But you can choose, right, whether you guys want to use this kind of styles that work with digital illustrations, digital portraits, or you guys can actually work with this kind of particular styles there. All right. You can add some other details there, okay, later on there, okay? That works. But you have to use your own face. Use your own face. All right? Use your own face that works there. Okay? So those are the things there. Any questions? No? All right. If there are any questions, right, okay, good luck with your assignments there. So group 1 and 2, I'm going to see you guys, okay, shortly after this, right, okay? So thank you very much, guys, okay, for coming over here and also join us, right, okay? Right, I'm going to try to check with the management right now or the admin right now why actually we cannot actually get all the students over here directly. So thank you very much. Have a nice day and welcome back, okay, to University directly, and hopefully we can see each other later on, okay, face to face. All right, all the best. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.